Meantime, Threefer Madness. Chris Verlod. Question what? What were you doing on your phone, dude? I'm watching you the whole time.
I'm trying to get this email sent, and it's not going. Okay. Was this a turning point for the Kings?
No. I'm sorry. I take that back. There's no way to know. Look, this is a great win. And somebody was saying on the chat just now, I wanted to mention this later, Jake LaRavia was actually quietly I really enjoy. He has some sort of weird connection to Zach LaVine that you can see forming, which is great. He had a couple of awesome bounce passes. And, Sabonis had in fact, I think it's what led to that Miles Bridges dunk we talked about earlier. Sabonis had this weird, he tried to do like a Jason Williams pass and all that. And I said at the time, I don't have a problem with that right now. These guys need to have more fun and test some things out. Yes, I would have had a problem with that in a 2-point game. That's the type of game where you really want to get loose and have remember, basketball is fun. It's a game, dang it. So have a little fun. It was also the Charlotte Hornets. They're a terrible, terrible team, and the Kings should have beaten them at home. I think they got a lot of stress out. You're also talking about a team that actually had a worse loss up in Portland a couple nights ago. So was this a turning point? I think that's way too premature, and I don't even think, even if they go into Utah and beat them, that's still premature. Now, they win another, 2 games on this road trip, we can start talking, but I'm not going to get overly excited for a Charlotte win. I'm just going to be happy with it.
Yeah, I think to me, the best part about it, I wouldn't say it's a turning point by any means, but this was the first game after you were embarrassed, the first game after you had a closed locker room talk.
Yes.
And so those are done to get a response. They got the response. That's good. Now, again, I want to go to the third quarter. This is when things were rolling and you're up 20 and they turned it over 8 times. It's cut to 9. When it's like, how do you blow a 20-point lead? Had they played somebody better, they were in trouble.
Yes, they were.
They did not play somebody better,
right.
And they regrouped, steadied the ship, and then, win comfortably. So all they needed to do was win. That was important. They did it. There was more good minutes than bad minutes, but no, I don't think this was any kind of this is the reference of when the season turned around. I don't think so.
By the way, that doesn't mean that in a month we could go and say, it all started at Charlotte. So. It all started against the Hornets.
Yeah.
But by the way, Chris Guerrero in the chat says that Markelle Fultz is already better than De'Aaron Fox. So that's a take we'll have to break down.
He's a better King right now.
I will say this. I agree with you. Also, super rooting for Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
Super rooting for that.
Why not?
That has the potential to be an amazing story. And by the way, there's signs. There's actual signs of you can see that talent in there. Question 2, please.
Question 2.
What did you make of Ellis subbing for Monk with just 4 minutes gone in the first?
Okay, this was weird to me. I'm gonna go back to pregame. I understand a lot was made over the Keon Ellis jersey thing, but they switch in and out sometimes. It's not really a thing. And I also don't want to make a huge deal out of this because it's gamesmanship. But I don't know who asked Doug.
Right.
But before the game, it was like, is there going to be a new starter? And Doug said something like, we'll see in a few minutes.
Yeah. You'll know the answer soon.
You'll know the answer soon. And I don't know why. I guess it's gamesmanship. Part of me was like, just say no. So the thing is when Malik Monk came out or whoever, DeRozan, when the starting lineup came out and Keon Ellis was not in there, there were some, Kings message boards that were like, Keon Ellis getting the start tonight. And that's their own fault for doing that. But you now have set up these false expectations. Right. But 4 minutes gone.
Yeah.
And Ellis comes in for Monk. And I looked very carefully. Oh, God, did Monk get banged up or something? That's awful early. And then literally 2 seconds into him being in the game, Keon Ellis hits a 3 at the top of the key. I thought it's a very. I don't think it's nothing. I don't think he was just accidentally. He just happened to sub in at 4. I think. My guess is that it's very much on the head of a pin right now. Who starts and who gets more minutes between the two of those. I think if anything, it probably signified that any thoughts of DeRozan going to the bench are probably unlikely. That it would be between Monk and Keon Ellis. And by the way, a lot of people are asking, We don't have a full update on Keon Ellis other than it was an ankle. He left the game, and I believe is listed at day to day. We'll get more of an update probably today.
Yeah, and then even in the second half, the first sub was Fultz because Keon was, I mean, he was on the bench, cleared, but did not play. Fultz came in about the 4-minute mark. So that's something we've seen them do. They kind of did that maybe a little bit longer with Fox when he was here and he'd have a sub. But we also saw it earlier with Ellis coming in for Levine. Not last night. Last night it was Monk. And the last couple games it's been Monk. I think Levine played the whole first quarter. So they're still tinkering with some of that. But look, the end results were pretty nice for the Kings. Also,
Trey Lyles, we should mention some good stuff and some spot minutes. His rotations have kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, he didn't get in until the second half, but then he was good.
And then Markelle Fultz, 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals in 18 minutes. That is encouraging. Also 3 turnovers, but we'll move on from that. Question 3, please.
Question 3.
Based on the reaction to the on-screen promo at Golden One Center yesterday, do you think De'Aaron Fox gets booed when he returns next week?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. We talked about this way at length earlier. Yeah, you will definitely hear boos. I don't know if the amount of booing is going to be as dominant as it was last night. I think it will definitely be a mixture, but as we said earlier, boos are easier to hear than cheers. They cut through. So I think you're going to hear boos enough to where I think you will see one of those like hurt. You're like when a boxer gets hit really hard and he smiles and like not, and shakes his head that it didn't hurt him. I think you're going to see something similar from De'Aaron where he's going to smile when the boos happen. Here's the other thing. By the way, I know the Kings will be favored in this game and something that no one's bringing up, but you know what's a really good idea too when you want to beat a team? Boo De'Aaron Fox.
We know what angry Fox looks like.
You know what we should do?
We've seen it probably about 6 times in his career here.
We should piss him off.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. We should piss him off. That being said, I hope we beat their asses. But yes, I do believe that he'll be booed.
The other part that will be intriguing, and we'll find out when we get there, is kind of what the organization thinks, because I still think there's some manipulation that can be done here to the crowd. Now, the crowd boos. But look, maybe you've heard it. You've been there. Like Scott Moe can go, and welcome back. Like there's almost like an encouragement, former King, whatever, in the intros there. You could do it that way and get the crowd a little bit more on a positive feel. And if they choose to do a tribute video, I mean, that's going to be the best of De'Aaron Fox on there. I mean, if they boo that, then
I think it's going to be 2 standing ovations.
I am 100% believe. Like, if this question was, do you think De'Aaron Fox would get a standing ovation? I would say absolutely.
Yeah,
he will get a standing ovation and simultaneous boos.
Yeah, but like, I don't think it's going to be that many.
So you think this? You don't think there'll be that many boos out there? No.
I was just surprised last night.
Yeah,
that was very loud, very noticeable to the point where like, whoa, this is a sign of what we're going to see. That's what it felt like.
Well, if the crowd at Golden One Center, if the chat is representative of that crowd, there's going to be a lot of.
They took it off the screen, like it's previewing the next game, and it's Levine and Fox, and all of it. You just hear this chorus of boos. You're like, what? Oh wow! And then they took it off.
Okay, so I got a question for you. This is where it gets really. This is very interesting to me. So you said there's different, and you're right. There are different things that can be done to kind of manipulate.
Right. But if they don't do anything,
but what I'm saying is if you're the Kings,
right?
Do you want to manipulate the situation? Are you fine?
Right.
Are you absolutely okay with him getting booed off the floor?
Yeah. I mean, look, the other game when they played the Warriors, it's still early enough in the game where it was still close, and Draymond's bickering at the officials, and then what they do is they put that. Someone's going to the free throw line. They just zero in on him, and he's looking up at the board. And then Draymond even smiled up there because he knows people started making a reaction to what they're showing up there. He's like, "Oh, they're showing me." So, like, you could show Fox more and see if they get reaction in a booing type fashion, and you can keep doing it.
I'll tell you what I think would be a good compromise. It's not going to happen. I would like to see him get a standing ovation for him being introed. And for his video, and then boo him every time he touches the ball. I feel like that's okay. Like if you guys want to boo, I mean, look, everybody can do what they want, of course. I wouldn't boo. but that's me. That's you. But I am kind of curious if the Kings are going to. I'm trying to think of other situations where a guy is good enough for a team to get a tribute video. And by the way, there have been a ton of ex-Kings that were not in De'Aaron Fox's stratosphere that have gotten videos.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of a situation where like a guy was good enough to get a video, but booed by the team. I mean, will Jimmy Butler get booed in Miami?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will they make him a video?
I don't know that they'll make him a video. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I could see Riley being like, no, screw him, no video. Yeah. But has that ever happened for Sacramento? I don't think we've ever had.
Not someone of this stratosphere.
Like Boogie got, I mean, DeMarcus is probably the most controversial player we've ever had. He got a standing O, a loud standing O. And obviously, I get it. He didn't want to be traded. We took the video and put it out of him crying at McCooney's when he got. That's a much different situation. I totally get it.
But De'Aaron was far more liked while he was here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He was far more liked for the 7+ years he was here, and then the last 2 weeks he was. Everyone's like, "Man, you're the worst. You're the worst." Boo. We'll take a break. When we come back, the tush push. They want to ban it. How do we feel about this? Also, some cap notes on Deebo Samuel, and is this